Jai. Jai.
No, no.
Perfection of Bhagavatam is pleasing to the devotees. Simple. So Hare Krishna everybody. This is not a regular course for me. So if I'm off course, please feel free to correct me. Alright? So help me as I open my notes on the flow of the event. Alright, so how do we do this usually?
We read the invocations. It's going to be on the
We
screen.
read the invocations first. Okay.
Om
Alright. Om
Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
O my Lord, the all-pervading personality of Godhead, I offer my respectful obeisances unto you. Narayanam namastutyam naram chaiva narottamam devim saraswatim vyasam tato jayamudire. Before reading Srimad Bhagavatam, which is very means of conquest, one should offer respectful obeisances unto the personality of Godhead, Narayana, unto Narayana Rishi, the supreme human being, unto Mother Saraswati, the goddess, unto Sevadasa, the Almighty. Nasya prayeshu bhajeshu nityam bhagavata sevaya bhagavata yutta sloke bhaktir bhavati nayashyati. By regular practice in the classes of the Bhagavatam and by rendering services to the pure devotee, all troublesome to the heart is almost completely destroyed, and loving services to the personality of Godhead, who is prized with the transcendental songs, is the established and irrevocable fact. Om Ajnanatirminandasya Ananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. I was born in a galaxy of my spiritual master opened my eyes with the torchlight of knowledge. I offer my respectful obeisances unto him. That's it.
Mukham Karosi Vachala Pangum Lingaitikam Yat Prapadam Deshi Guru. Okay, help me with the next step. Chanting of the verse.
Yes.
Alright. So how do we do it? I then everyone repeats. Is that okay?
Which verse is 20?
15, 16.
15 and 16.
Yes, Prabhu is ready.
Alright, we'll just chant the 15 first. That's okay? Alright. Nadarsha prachit Anam
Nadarsha pratichanam
Valmika Tranaki
Valmika Tranaki Chake
Pipilika Achir Nam
Pipilika Achirnam
I'll do that one more time. Pipilika Achirnam
Pipilika Achirnam
Vedasvam Mamsa Sonitam
Vedam Sashonitam.
Right? If someone could repeat.
Nadarsha pratichanam.
Nadarsha pratichanam Valmika Tranaki Chake Pipilika Achirnam
Vedasvam Mamsasonitam
Vedasvam Sasonitam Nadarsha pratichanam Valmikan ki chake
Valmika Chantri Chake
Pipilika virachirnam
Medasvatmam Sasnohitam
Vedasvam Mamsa Sonitam
Nadarsha Pratishanam
Valmika Devaki Chake
Valmika
Ki chake
Pipila Achinam
Lilika Virachinam Medaswan Mamsonitam
Right, read word to word.
Yes, Prabhu.
Okay. How does it work? Repeat.
Together or like
Everyone together?
Yeah.
Okay, let's do that. We'll try and keep the same pace.
Yeah.
Not Darsha Sa Pratishanam covered Valmika by an ankle Trina grass Kishaka ambushes Vipilakuli by the hands Achinam Param Mela whose fat Tva skin Mamsa flesh Shonitam and blood Tapatam eating Tapasa exalted type of penance Lokan all the three worlds Yata just as Abra by clouds Apitam covered Ring the sun Vilasha seeing Vishnata struck with wonder Prabha said Hasan smiling Tvam to him Hamsa Vahana Lord Brahma who rides as one airplane.
Right. So read the translation. Lord Brahma was carried by a swan airplane. At first could not see where Hiranyakashipu was. For Hiranyakashipu's body was covered with an antle and by grass and bamboo sticks. Because Hiranyakashipu had been there for a long time, the ants had devoured his skin, fat, flesh, and blood. Lord Brahma and the demigods spotted him, resembling a cloud-covered sun, heating all the world by his austerity. Struck with wonder, Lord Brahma began to smile and then addressed him as follows. We'll read the purport as well. By His Divine Grace, His Bhaktivedanta Swami Ishwar Prabhupada Ki Jai. The living entity can live merely by his own power, without the help of skin, marrow, bone, blood, and so on. Because asango yam purusa, the living entity has nothing to do with the material covering. Hiranyakashipu performed a severe type of tapasya, austerity, for many long years. Indeed, it is said that he performed the tapasya for 100 heavenly years. Since one day of the demigod equals 6 of our months, certainly this was a very long time. By his own weight, his body has been almost consumed by earthworms, ants, and other parasites. And therefore, even Brahma was at first unable to see him. Later, however, Brahma could ascertain where Hiranyakashipu was, and Brahma was struck with wonder to see Hiranyakashipu's extraordinary power to execute tapasya. Anyone would conclude that Hiranyakashipu was dead because his body was covered in so many ways. But Lord Brahma, the supreme living being in this universe, could understand that Hiranyakashipu was alive, but covered by material elements. It is also to be noted that although Hiranyakashipu performed this austerity for a long time, he was nonetheless known as a Daitya. It will be seen from verses to follow that even great saintly persons could not perform such a severe type of austerity. Why then was he called a Rakshasa and a Daitya? It is because whatever he did was for his own sense gratification. His son Prahlad Maharaj was only 5 years old, and so what could Prahlad do? Yet simply by performing a little devotional service according to the instructions of Narad, Prahlad became so dear to the Lord that the Lord came to save him. Whereas Hiranyakashipu, in spite of all his austerities, was killed. The difference between the devotional service and all other methods of perfection. One who performs severe austerities for sense gratification is fearful of the entire world, whereas a devotee who performs even a slight amount of devotional service is a friend for everyone. Sadhum Suhridam Sarva Bhutanam. Since the Lord is the well-wisher of every entity, and since a devotee assumes the qualities of the Lord, a devotee also acts for everyone's good fortune by performing devotional. Thus, although Hiranyakashipu performed such a severe austerity, he remained a Daitya and a Rakshasa, where Prahlad Maharaj, although born of the same Daitya father, became the most exalted devotee and was personally protected by the Supreme Lord. Bhakti is therefore called Sarvopadi Vini Muktam, indicating that a devotee is all material designations and Anya Vilashitam Shunyam, situated in a transcendental position, free from all material desires. Shloka Prabhupada ki
Jai.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So we are reading from the 7th canto, chapter 3, and I believe we are reading the chapter today.
Yes.
Just in terms of flow, we have about 35 minutes. So what we'll do is we'll read the summary of the chapter, Hiranyakashipu's plan to become immortal. That sounds exciting, at least to me. We'll read the summary of the chapter, we'll read translation purports all the way till 16. And then in between, if anyone has any reflections, more than happy, welcome, share, and I hope you do. And then we'll try and summarize what it's so far, and that should take us to 8:20, 8:25, and then we will share some, we'll discuss further forms of Q&A. Alright.
So is there translations along the articles?
I think instead of me talking, better we read Prabhupada's translations and purports. I'm sure everyone will agree. So we should make the best of the time. But before we do that, a quick question. What's the best way to time travel? Yeah. Anyone has thought about time traveling? Has anyone traveled in the mind from one place to another?
Yes.
It was happening to me upstairs. And Bhagavatam, it often happens, right? We all travel. Chanting is also. But then Bhagavatam offers us a different way of time traveling. Actually, I was reading a quote by James Clear, who arguably runs the most well-distributed newsletter in this world, and is also the author of Atomic Habits. And that's where someone said reading the best way to time travel, or one of the best ways to time travel is reading, and Bhagavatam confirms that. So from a perspective of time traveling, spiritual time travel, where are we right now? Currently, what's our current location?
Satyayoga.
Sorry?
Satyayoga.
Current location right now.
Yeah.
Right now, Kali Yuga?
Satyayoga.
Toronto? Okay. Alright, we'll go to Satyavika, you're right. You're just a step ahead of us. Right. It's not your mistake, it's just my narration. Okay, so now we are reading Bhagavatam. Where does Bhagavatam take us first? What's the first stop? Time travel with Bhagavatam. Sorry? Go ahead, there's no right or wrong answers. Parikshit Maharaj story. Okay. Do we directly go to where does Bhagavatam takes us in the beginning? Is it directly with Parikshit Maharaj and Sukadeva Goswami? Naimisharanya. What's happening in Naimisharanya? Who all is present over there? The sages.
Sukadeva. Sorry.
Right. Sutta Goswami, right? Okay, so we are in Naimisharanya, time traveling, Sutta Goswami. Hare Krishna. Alright, and now we are there with all the sages. And now what's our next destination? Where does Sutta Goswami take us? Go for it.
So Parikshit Maharaj and
Parikshit Maharaj and
Sukadeva Goswami.
Sukadeva Goswami. So now we are with all the sages of Naimisharanya, Sutta Goswami and all the sages. And now they have taken us to Sukadeva Goswami and Parikshit Maharaj, an assembly of all the sages. Let's talk of 7th canto, 3rd chapter.
The conversation between the Yudhishthira and Narada.
Alright, and then from there we go back to Treta Yuga, I believe. And we'll come to Satyavika too. Waiting. And now we are, Sutta Goswami, all the sages of Naimisharanya. And then we have gone to Sukadeva Goswami and Parikshit Maharaj, and further we have gone with Yudhishthira Maharaj and Narada Muni. There's a podcast happening, right? And then it's also recorded. So there's a transcript and a conversation going on. And from there what happens? Where is Narada Muni and Narada Muni and Yudhishthira Maharaj taking us?
This is Hiranyakashipu and
Yeah.
Brahma, Lord Brahma.
Alright, so now with all these great sages and personalities, now we are going to observe back in time. I should be doing, to your point, now we are in Satyayuga. So we travel from Kali Yuga to Treta, and then So we jumped all the way to Satyuga, and now we're going to discuss an assembly of all the sages, great personalities like Narad Muni, Yudhishthira Maharaj, and now we're going to observe what's happening in Satyuga. Okay? Summary, chapter summary? Okay. I'm sure you got this by now. I'm not the best of the readers, so I'll ask all of you for help. Yes, absolutely. I was not looking at you to read that.
The chapter describes how Hiranyakashipu performed a severe type of austerity for benefit, thus causing great distress throughout the universe. Even Lord Brahma, the chief personality within this universe, became somewhat disturbed and personally received why Hiranyakashipu was engaged in such a severe austerity.
Want to read one more?
Sure.
We have quite a bit to read, so it's okay to read.
You can finish entire summary.
What? Hiranyakashipu wanted to become immortal. He wanted not to be conquered by anyone, not to be attacked by old age and disease, and not to be harassed by any opponent. Thus, he wanted to become the absolute ruler of the entire universe. With this desire, he entered the valley of Mandara mountain and began practicing a severe type of austerity and meditation. Seeing Hiranyakashipu engaged in this austerity, the demigods returned to their respective homes. While Hiranyakashipu was thus engaged, a kind of fire began blazing from his head, disturbing the entire universe and its inhabitants, including the birds, beasts, and demigods. When all the higher and lower planets became too hot to live, the demigods, being disturbed, left their abodes in the higher planets and went to see Lord Brahma, praying to him that he curtailed this unnecessary heat. The demigods disclosed to Lord Brahma Hiranyakashipu's ambition to become immortal, overcoming his short duration of life and to be the master of all the planetary systems, even Dhruvaloka. Upon hearing the purpose of Hiranyakashipu's austere meditation, Lord Brahma, accompanied by the great sage Bhrigu and great personalities like Daksha, went to see Hiranyakashipu. He then sprinkled water from his mandalu, a type of water pot, upon Hiranyakashipu's head. Hiranyakashipu, the king of the Daityas, bowed down before Lord Brahma, the creator of this universe, offering respectful obeisances again and again and offering prayers. When Lord Brahma agreed to give him benedictions, he prayed not to be killed by any living entity, not to be killed in any place, covered or uncovered, not to die in the daytime or at night, not to be killed by any weapon, on land or in the air, and not to be killed by any human being, animal, demigod, or any other entity, living or non-living. He further prayed for supremacy over the entire universe and requested the 8 yogic perfections such as Anima and Lagima.
Prabhu, anyone has any reflections on Hiranyakashipu's immortality? Thoughts? Sure, Martin.
It is funny to think that he offered obeisances to Lord Brahma when he has animosity towards Krishna. Like that doesn't make sense.
That doesn't make. You're right. I'll put it this way. I was thinking of Hiranyakashipu, and usually, this. I'm pretty sure we all go through, right? When we look for jobs and all, and your boss is asking you, where do you see yourself in 5 years from now? In your mind, you're thinking, your seat. In the time of interview, you're paying all your obeisances to Lord Brahma, but the goal is your seat. Right? So I hope that helps, right? Offering obeisances to Lord Brahma, not out of respect, but just because of the situation we are in. Hiranyakashipu. The Hiranyakashipu in my heart is talking. Okay, we'll continue.
Prabhu?
Sorry, I'm sorry. Yeah, please.
One translation. Narada Muni said to Maharaj Yudhishthira, the demoniac king Hiranyakashipu wanted to be unconquerable and free from old ailing of the body. He wanted to gain all the yogic perfections like Anima and Lagima, to be deathless and to be the only king of the entire universe, including Brahmaloka, corporate. Such are the goals of the austerities performed by Hiranyakashipu wanted to receive a benediction from Lord Brahma, so that in the future he would be able to conquer Lord Brahma's abode. Similarly, another demon received a benediction from Lord Shiva, but later wanted to kill Lord Shiva with the same benediction. Thus, self-interested persons, by demoniac austerity, want to kill even their benedictors, whereas the Vaishnava wants to remain an ever-existing servant and never to occupy the post of the Lord. Through Saityamuti, which is generally demanded by asuras, one merges into the existence of the Lord, but although one sometimes thus achieves the goal of the theory of monism, one falls down again to struggle in material existence.
Right. Time traveling and back in the material existence. Thank you. Any reflections or comments? No? Okay, we'll go to the next one.
Translation. In the valley of Mandara Hill, Hiranyakashipu began performing his austerities by standing with his toes on the ground, keeping his arms upward and looking towards the sky. This position was extremely difficult, but he accepted it as a means to attain perfection.
Thank you. I'll just wait for reflections. If there are, feel free to interrupt and share what you want to share. Otherwise, we'll just continue translation and purpose.
Text 3 translate. From the hair on Hiranyakashipu's head, there emanated an effulgent light as brilliant and intolerable as the rays of the sun at the time of dissolution. Seeing the performance of such austere penances, the demigods who had been wandering throughout the planets now returned to respective homes.
There is no purpose.
Text 4. Because of Hiranyakashipu's severe austerities, fire came from his and this fire and its smoke spread throughout the sky, encompassing the upper and lower planets which all became extremely hot.
Because of the power of his severe austerities, all the rivers and oceans were agitated. The surface of the globe, with its mountains and islands, began trembling, and the stars and planets fell. All directions were east.
Gods is extremely disturbed because of Hiranyakashipu's certainties. All the demigods where they resided and went to the planet of Lord Brahma, where they found the Creator as follows. O Lord of demigods, O Master of yours, because of the fire emanating from Hiranyakashipu's head, as a result of severe austerities, we have become so disturbed that we could not stay in our planet, but have to come to you.
Text 7 runs. O great Son, Chief of the Universe, if you think it proper, kindly stop this disturbance, mean to destroy everything, before all your obedient subjects are annihilated.
Hiranyakashipu has taken the most severe type of austerity. Although his style is not known to you, kindly listen as we sum up his intentions.
Text 9 and 10. Person within this universe, Lord Brahma, has gotten his exalted post by dint of severe austerities, mystic power, and trance. Consequently, after creating the universe, he has become the most worshipful demigod within it. Since I am eternal and time is eternal, I shall endeavor for such austerity, mystic power, and trance for many, many births, and thus I shall occupy the same post occupied by Lord Brahma. Purport. Hiranyakashipu's determination was to occupy the post of Lord Brahma, but this was impossible because Brahma has a long duration of life, as confirmed in Bhagavad Gita 8.17, Sahas Yuga Prayantam. Ahar Yad Brahmano with 1000 yugas equal 1 day of Brahma. The duration of Brahma life is extremely great, and consequently it was impossible for Hiranyakashipu to occupy the post. Nonetheless, his decision was that since the Atma and time are both eternal, if he could not occupy that post in one lifetime, he would continue to execute austerity life after life, so that sometimes he would be able to do so.
Text 11. By dint of my severe abilities, I shall reverse the results of past and impious activities. I shall overturn all the established practices within this world. Even the rule of will be vanquished at the end of the millennium. Therefore, what is the use of it? I shall prefer to remain in the post of Brahma. Purport. Hiranyakashipu's diabolic resolution was explained to Lord by the demigods, who informed him that Hiranyakashipu wanted to overturn all the established principles. After executing severe austerities, people within this material world are promoted to the heavenly planets, but Hiranyakashipu wanted them to be unhappy, suffering, because of the diplomatic feelings of the demigods. Even in the heavenly planets, He wanted those who were harassed in this world by material transaction happy for the same reason. Even in the heavenly planets, indeed, he wanted to do such harassment everywhere. One might ask how this would be impossible. Since the universal order has been established since time immemorial. But Hiranyaksha was proud to declare that he would be able to do everything by the power of his tapasya. He even wanted to make the Vaishnav's position insecure. There are some of the signs of asuric determination.
Okay. You can read.
O Lord, we have heard from your testimony in order to obtain the post. Hiranyakshipu is now engaged in serious hostility. You are the master of three words. Please, without delay, take whatever steps to be necessary. Okay. In the material world, the servant is made for by the master, but is always planning how to capture the master's post. There have been many instances of this in history, especially in India and rule. Many servants are plants and vices to hold the post of their masters. It is learned from Chaitanya literature that one day Sanya Subhadhi Rai kept a Mohammedan boy as a servant. Of course, he treated the boy as his own child, and sometimes when the boy would steal something, the master would chastise him by striking with a cane. There was a mark on the boy's back for his chastisement. Later, after the bad boy had by floating means become Hussein Shah Nawab of Balkh. One day his wife saw the mark on his back and inquired about it. God replied that in his childhood he had been a servant of Subhadra, who had punished him because of some mischievous activities. Upon hearing this, the Nawab's wife became irritated and requested her husband to Subhadra. Nawab Hussein Shah, of course, was very grateful to Subhadra and therefore to kill him. But when his wife requested to turn Subhadra into a Mohammedan, Nawab agreed. Taking some water from his water pot, he sprinkled it upon Subhadra and declared that Subhadra had now become a Mohammedan. The point is that Nawab had been an ordinary menial servant of Subhadra, but was somehow or other able to occupy the city of Nawab of Bengal. This is the material world. Everyone is trying to some master through various devices. All everyone is servant of his senses. Following this system, alien entity, always servant of his senses, tries to be the master of the whole universe. Hiranyakashipu was a typical example of this and now was informed by the believer of his intentions. Can you go back to the last chapter?
And then, almost from here he sees he even wanted to make the Vaishnava's position insecure. Where does this lead?
He wanted to make the Vaishnava position insecure.
Yeah, but what does that mean?
Can someone help? What does that mean?
Brahma was also Vaishnava.
Yes. What do you guys think?
Yes.
Yes.
That's why he wanted to.
Okay. What else he wanted to do?
Like he's planning to take the control of each and everything, like all the planetary systems like Surya, Chandra, and everyone who is the servants of the
Change the order.
and
And then not let Vaishnavas perform their
astrology, no yajnas.
Any example that Hiranyakashipu did that?
Yes.
What is the example?
So he banned each and every activity, yajna, which is to Lord Vishnu, and he wanted to do it for own.
Any other example or something else? What is Hiranyakashipu famously known for?
Not letting his son.
Yeah, torturing Prahlad. Prahlad was the Vaishnava? Hence confirmed. He is torturing the Vaishnavas, including his son. Okay.
How is he making the position insecure?
He was trying his best. That doesn't mean the Vaishnavas are insecure. It's just that he is trying.
He had so much of dedication, determination for materialistic and materialism. I feel like Dhruv Maharaj went for something materialistic and then he turned into a devotee he got pride. And here he is also doing a single austerity and not getting very pride instead. He just wants to, he's just getting envious towards Vaishnava and Vishnu itself.
Yeah, that's a great point. We'll talk more about it actually. So hold on to that. We'll compare with that a little bit. Okay. Any other thoughts? Comments? Okay, well then, yeah, please.
In the translation of text 11, it says even Dhruva Loka will be vanquished at the end of the millennium. But I think
That
that
was his plan. If I remember.
It's
No,
important.
he said, therefore, what is the use of it?
Yeah.
So I thought that he needs to say that even Dhruva Loka would be mine. But yeah. What is the use of ruling such planet? That's what I think. That's what I understood.
Even through, yeah, this is text 11, that's Hiranyakashipu speaking.
Yeah.
That's his thought process.
Okay.
So he doesn't see any point in having Dhruva Loka. According to him, it will be vanquished. Because he's not considering someone, right?
So he didn't have knowledge of anything, maybe limited knowledge.
Limited knowledge doesn't want to accept.
Yeah.
I'll give you an example. The first 10 verses of Bhagavad Duryodhana is recognizing many key players in the game, for lack of a better word, but he doesn't recognize one person.
Krishna.
There you go. So is there a similar behavior in demons? They don't recognize Krishna or Vishnu to be the supreme. So this is, he's saying Dhruva Loka will be vanquished. It won't be. It's a spiritual planet. But he wants to, doesn't want to acknowledge that.
That makes sense.
I stand to be corrected. My knowledge of Shastras is limited, so please feel free to redirect if I'm going here and there. Okay? Any other comments? If not, we'll read the next verse. Is it the 13th one?
Yes.
Okay. Who's
Prabhu,
you're the chosen one.
Yes.
Oh Lord Brahma, your position within this universe is certainly most auspicious for everyone, especially the cows and Brahmanas. Brahmanic culture and the protection of cows can be easily glorified, and thus all kind of material happiness, opulence, and good fortune automatically increase. But unfortunately, if Hiranyakashipu occupies everything will be lost. In this verse, the words Gavyan,
Parameshwara.
indicate the most exalted position of Brahmanic culture and the cows. In Vedic culture, the welfare of the cows and the welfare of the Brahmanas are essential. Without a proper arrangement for developing Brahmanic culture and cows, all affairs of administration will go to hell. Being afraid of that, Hiranyakashipu will occupy the post of Brahma. All the demigods were extremely disturbed. Hiranyakashipu was a well-known demon, and the demigods of demons and Rakshasas were to occupy the supreme post. Brahmanic culture and the protection of cows would come to an end. As stated in Bhagavad Gita 5.29, the original proprietor for everything is Lord Krishna.
Bhaktaram Ignatapasam Sarvalokamaheshwara.
Therefore knows particularly well how to develop the material condition of living entities in the material world. In every universe there is one Brahma engaged on behalf of Lord Krishna. As confirmed in Srimad Bhagavatam, the principal creator of each Brahmananda is Lord Brahma, who imparts Vedic knowledge to his disciples and sons. On every planet, the king or supreme controller must be a representative of Brahma. Therefore, if a Rakshasa or demon were situated in Brahma's post, then the entire arrangement of the universe, especially the protection of Brahmanical culture and cows, would be ruined. All the demigods anticipated this, and therefore, they went to request Lord Brahma to take immediate steps toward Hiranyakashipu's plan. Can you scroll up a bit? In the beginning of creation, Lord Brahma was attacked by two demons, one Kaitava, but Krishna saved him. Therefore, Krishna is addressed as Devata Ante. Now again, Hiranyakashipu was trying to replace Brahma. The material world is so situated that even the position of Lord Brahma, not to speak of ordinary living entities, is sometimes in danger. Nonetheless, until the time of Hiranyakashipu, no one had tried to replace Lord Brahma. Hiranyakashipu, however, was such a great demon that he maintained his submission. This word, Priyati, means for increasing honors, and the word Shreyash refers to ultimately returning home to Godhead. In spiritual advancement, one's material position improves at the same time that the path of liberation becomes clear, and one is freed from material bondage. If one is situated in an opulent position in spiritual advancement, his opulence never decreases. Therefore, such as spiritual benediction is called Bhuti or Vibhuti. Krishna in Bhagavad Gita 10.4.
Yatya vibhutam sattvam ma tejam sattvam.
If a devotee advances in spiritual consciousness and thus becomes materially opulent, also his position is a special gift from the Lord. Such opulence is never to be considered material. At the present, especially on this planet Earth, the influence of Gauranga has decreased considerably, and the representatives of Hiranyakashipu, the Rakshasas and demons, have taken charge. Therefore, there is no protection of Brahmanical culture and cows, which is the basic prerequisite for all kinds of good fortune. The age is very dangerous because society is being managed by demons and Rakshasas.
He has some questions, I think so. You raise your hand. You raise hand sometimes.
I like that point right there. If a devotee advances in spiritual consciousness and thus becomes materially opulent also, his position is a special gift from the Lord.
Right, so it's okay. You don't have to take sannyas. You guys can be the CEOs, CEOs, and still be engaged in Krishna consciousness through recommended. Okay, awesome. I underlined that for myself.
Okay. I just have like in earlier verses there is said like Daksha and I think in starting I am trying to recall some. Daksha and Bruhu both came to offer absences.
To try to deter Hiranyakashipu.
They went with Lord. They went with Brahma.
They went with Brahma.
Yeah, the part of the Lord Brahma's party.
But they both are okay. This is after Daksha.
I would assume so.
Uh,
But since we are time traveling, you can ask Lord Brahma. We are not-
No, I'm just thinking like how I never seen this. They both are connected. Any conversation earlier, like how did they come together, and like is there any secret behind this? Like
Daksha is the son.
son of, yes, but like only very few statements regarding like they mentioned he's the son of, but like any conversation never mentioned. So that's why. And like where exactly he bring out of all the sons, where did he bring Daksha and Bruhu?
It's a Prajapati, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah,
Understanding of Daksha. So
Yeah.
there's definitely a pastime with Lord Shiva.
yeah.
He's a great devotee of the Lord Daksha. He
Mm.
himself later on got purified,
Mm.
and if I'm not wrong, he got the darshan of Lord Vishnu.
Mm.
This is the continuation. I don't have the whole thing on top of my head. I remember hearing in the class, he's a great devotee of the Lord.
Mm.
It was just a situation, temporary situation where he offended Lord Shiva,
Mm.
or a situation, or a pastime where he offended Lord Shiva, but later on he,
Changed.
I'm pretty sure there's a change in the heart.
He did. After he was given a God's head, and after that he was given another God's head.
God is in the Lord, yes, we gave up that Lord,
Mm.
worship the Lord. Right. Any other comments? Okay, we'll continue.
Text 14. Translation. O king, being thus informed by the demigods, the most powerful Lord Brahma, accompanied by Bhrigu, Daksha, and other great sages, immediately started for the Hiranyakashipu, was performing his penances and austerities. Purport. Lord Brahma was waiting for the austerities performed by Hiranyakashipu to mature, so he could go there and offer benedictions according to Hiranyakashipu's desire. Now taking the opportunity of being accompanied by all the demigods and great saintly persons, Brahma wished to award him the benediction he desired.
And I'll read the purport. Sorry, the translation that we earlier read. Lord Brahma was carried by a swan airplane. So we are still in the time machine, time capsule. Observing this, Lord Brahma is on a swan airplane. At first, not see Hiranyakashipu, where Hiranyakashipu was. Can you guys help Lord Brahma find Hiranyakashipu? Do you guys see an angel somewhere? No, it's very difficult. For Hiranyakashipu's body was covered anthill and by grass and bamboo sticks. Because Hiranyakashipu had been there for a long time, the ants had devoured his skin, fat, flesh and blood. Then Lord Brahma and demigods spotted him, resembling a cloud-covered sun, heating all the world by his austerity. Struck with wonder, Lord Brahma began to smile and then addressed him as follows. So we are at 8:25. Alright, we'll try and wrap this up in 5 minutes for those who are meditating on Prashad.
Mhm.
So, just some quick thoughts here. What is going on in terms of what are the qualities of Hiranyakashipu? I think you should give some credit where you. What would you observe?
Determination.
Determined, okay.
And
Sorry?
envious.
Definitely a quality, yes, he's envious. What else?
At one point he was shown like so mindful, so knowledgeable person, he was preaching other family members. At the same time he is shown as somebody who is dumb, who is understanding Brahma as immortal and rule of immortal. So
Yeah.
rule of as immortal or some
No, that the first you said was
First one was right.
yeah, Brahma look as immortal and rule is so that doesn't make any sense. Like you have knowledge and you are preaching and you are so determined at the same time you are just like you are so
Yeah.
all fool, you don't understand.
If you guys come on Sankirtan, this is a common occurrence. It happens often. People are very knowledgeable but spiritually misaligned. Oh, that's the painting, right? See, we have a visual representation.
Parents for a long time.
Yeah, so parents for a long time, yeah. How was Janmashtami for all of you?
Exhausting.
Sorry?
This
Spiritually blissful, materially exhausting. How would you feel if on the next day, which is of course a beautiful day for all of us, some extra service? How does that sound? Let's talk a bit more. How about some extra service the day after? How do you feel?
It is also blissful.
Is
But-
blissful, spiritually blissful,
Blissful.
bodily concept?
Yeah.
How does that feel at a bodily level? I can sense the pain behind everyone's mind. Kind of been there, done that feeling. Right? So, but Hiranyakashipu, I mean, that guy is, how many years? How many years he did tapasya for?
100.
How much is that?
I did that.
6 months. 6
6
months.
months is
It's
One day.
219,000 human years.
Okay.
219,000 human months.
That's, how much is it in years? I use ChatGPT for the same calculation. It's 18,000 plus years. I was like, man. Actually, ChatGPT got it wrong at the beginning. Hiranyakashipu was so amazing. He blew up ChatGPT. So, anyways, the point is he was knowledgeable. He was philosophical, as we have read in the previous chapter. He was determined, right? Much more determined, at least, than me. I'd say for all of you. But he was determined. No prasadam. I don't think he'll eat prasadam. No food, nothing to eat, nothing to drink for some few thousand years. And still, and he was, I think, if the best ballet award will ever go, it will go to Hiranyakashipu. Because he was standing toes like this, right? That was, I don't think he was wearing ballet shoes or no support at all. So materially pretty impressive. Right? And he was willing to go to any limit, as we have read. He was
even lifetimes.
willing to do tapasya for lifetimes to achieve this goal. How does that sound?
if somebody can do so much of severe austerities for materialistic stuff, if you are way to 2% of it for spiritual things.
Yeah. So the point is, he has all these great qualities, but still he's a demon. Why?
Because he does it for his own sense gratification. For his
Yeah.
own purposes.
What is his goal? To satisfy himself. He's in the center, right? What else is his goal? What does he want to do?
To take revenge.
Go for it.
To take
Yeah, okay. Let's do this. Everyone speak at the same time.
To-
No, I'm just kidding. One at a time.
revenge of his brother
Okay.
and to kill Lord
To kill Lord Vishnu. Okay. That's like a real thing to do.
He wanted that everyone should serve him.
Everyone should serve.
He's
Does
the
that sound
supreme.
familiar? Anyone is able to relate to that?
Overpowered time.
To overpower time. Okay. Wow, that's and to achieve immortality.
Yeah.
Right? He wanted to overcome this birth, death,
Disease.
old age, disease. Does that sound familiar? Is that kind of something we are trying to do over here as well? Okay. So, but then we see that when we go back in Bhagavatam, right? We see in the previous cantos, this some who wanted a bigger planet?
Dhruva
Dhruva Maharaj, right? But then, what's wrong here? Like, Dhruva Maharaj wanted a bigger planet, and he got a bigger planet actually than Lord Brahma. So he succeeded, he got a promotion. And then, how much time did Dhruva Maharaj take? 6 months. 6 months. Man, I wish Hiranyakashipu had read Bhagavatam. Right? Don't you think so?
Yeah.
He would have accepted Bhagavatam. He wouldn't have had to. Like, which other kings are mentioned in the Bhagavatam? Powerful kings, devotees of the Lord in the past.
It's like first, while after asking the question, I was thinking about it, and then I realized like his mother's consciousness was not pure. That's why the guys were telling me.
Yeah.
Whereas Suchi's consciousness was, Suniti's consciousness was pure, and she was also devotee, and she kind of was a guru of her son as well. And when he left, then the peace association was also there, so Nalguni kind of blessed him. Those were certain things that when you go for God, then even if you have something impure in you, it just gets purified by the process itself, and things become.
Nice, yeah. So what we are trying to do here is, see from an external perspective, Hiranyakashipu's situation is in some ways or form to some other personalities mentioned in the Bhagavatam. King Chitraketu, he meditated, Narad Muni came to him. Maharaj is a full play, by the way, on King Chitraketu. It's one of my favorites. Narad Muni gave him the mantra. All of you do mantra chanting also. King Chitraketu checked for 1 week, became a pure devotee. Right? 1 week. Prahlad Maharaj was just a 5-year-old, and Nrsimhadev came out of the pillar for him. I mean, I've been chanting for 12 years, no pillar is broken so far. Like, it is mentioned, I was last year in Sadi, Damodar Charan Prabhu's place, and he was mentioning that Lord Vishnu was sitting like this in the heavenly, in the Vaikuntha Dham, and he was very anxiously looking down. And why? Because the argument was going on between Prahlad and Hiranyakashipu. So Lord Vishnu wanted to make sure the pit at which Prahlad Maharaj points, right? He was at full attention. That's the pillar I want to come out from, so I don't want to miss the moment. So he was totally focused. How is that reciprocation, right? So it's not that Nrsimhadev doesn't come out from the pillar, it's just that my chanting is not there yet. So the point to make here is, it's not about the activity that you do, it's about who is in the center. Right? For Dhruva Maharaj, even though initially it was having a bigger planet, and of course we see King Chitraketu, or Ambarish Maharaj, they did not have that many desires. Prahlad was just a 5-year-old. But the point is, they were able to ensure, based on their activities, we observe that they were able to keep who in the center? You sure? That's true, Krishna in the center. For Hiranyakashipu, who was in the center? Brahma was in the center. Trust me, it wasn't Brahma. He was like, yeah, you give me the job, I'll take over. Less than 5 years, I'll be the boss. Lord Brahma will be unemployed, but he was just daydreaming, nothing more than that. So, how do we know when we are practicing devotional life? How do we know? Has anyone observed this some little Hiranyakashipu that comes out in our heart?
Yes.
Yeah. It's not always like these are two examples, right? Extreme examples. In a way, Bhagavatam gives all these beautiful examples, right? One side you have Ambarish Maharaj, and the other side you have Hiranyakashipu. But what do we learn? How do we practically apply it in day-to-day life? There's always times when you feel like a little Prahlad. I'm sure during the Janmashtami you are like, yeah. And then at times you feel like a little Hiranyakashipu. Everyone is able to relate. Right? But then something we read in the Bhagavad Gita, at least the class I was referring to, which which talk penances, right? Why Shastras are so important? Because they guide us. That's why Shastras are important. So the 19th verse of Bhagavad Gita, penances performed out of foolishness with torture. So we have the pictures now?
I'm trying to append it.
Okay, what is penances performed out of foolishness with self-torture or to destroy or injure others is said to be in the mode of ignorance. What do you guys think? Hiranyakashipu's austerities, do they qualify?
Yes.
Yeah? How do they qualify? Was it out of foolishness?
Yes.
How was it out of foolishness? Why was it out of foolishness?
He wanted, like he always said that Durga was not immortal, he thought Durga was more immortal, like he got that, he was incorrect about that. He wanted to kill Lord Vishnu, he wanted to harm the devotees. So it fits all the criteria mentioned.
Fits the criteria, yeah. Where does the intelligence come from?
Krishna.
Absolutely. So you're not going to Krishna, then how are you going to be intelligent? Right? 10th chapter in Bhagavad Gita, O son of God, know that I am the original seed of all existence. I don't think Hiranyakashipu read Bhagavad Gita either. I don't think he accepted that. Right? The intelligence of the intelligent and the prowess of all powerful men. Prahlad was trying to tell them all of this. Won't agree, won't accept. So yeah, so that's why when we do penances as well, we do austerity. It's not that by austerity alone or by detachment alone we can become a pure devotee. Yes, these are some of the attributes that we see, or the not natural attributes of pure devotees, but it's the actual devotion that should inspire us. And yes, of course, we see or we hear about the Goswamis, and including Prahlad Maharaj, they were detached, but the core recipe is devotion. Bhaktamam Abhijanati, we mentioned in the Bhagavad Gita, right, 8th chapter. Right? It's only devotion. So it's not the austerity, it's not the philosophical knowledge, it's none of that. It's actually devotion. And how do you get devotion? By serving the devotees, that means of bhakti. Let me see if I can pull a verse from Bhagavad Gita really. So, how did Dhruv Maharaj get devotion?
From Mom acting as guru.
Mom acting as guru. What else happened? Narad Muni. I wish Hiranyakashipu had met Narad Muni.
It's like when your intentions are good, your intentions are pure, when you really go for something good, then Krishna sends his devotees like this.
Absolutely. What if your intentions are bad? Would Krishna not send someone?
He would
He would
send
still
some-
send
So you get what you want. Some people get a fake guru because they want to help you.
Yeah. Is there any example you guys can think of? The intentions were not necessarily pure, but you got mercy.
Bali Maharaj,
Bali Maharaj?
he wanted to take over he wanted to conquer demigods, and in the process of doing that, his intention was not pure. But Lord Vandradev came.
Ajam.
Yeah, Bali Maharaj, I was thinking of someone else, but good example. Ajamal? Yeah. These were still nice intentions, alright, nothing so wrong with it. Tell me about someone who was not necessarily doing or even according to the religious codes or things that are not normal. Duryodhan, did he get the mercy?
No.
No. Who else? Actually he got, but in a different way.
Putana.
Putana. So what did Putana do?
He tried to kill.
Her intentions were not good. Still got the mercy. So like had one little moment and Krishna picked it up, expanded it, so then gave her mercy. Something else I was thinking of, Mrigarari, the hunter. Right? His job was just killing, butchering birds, animals. Whom did he meet?
No.
Causeless mercy. Right? Imagine, Canada is a cold place, you're walking on the lane, alright? It's snowing outside and you're shivering walking. A car stops by, the person opens the door and says, Prabhu, Mataji, you may not know me, but I've been sent by devotees. Why don't you come and sit? I'll drop you wherever you want. You don't need to give me anything, nothing. Causeless mercy. That's what Narad Muni did with her life. But Brikarari took it up. Right? Narad Muni actually saved Hiranyakashipu.
I didn't hear from that.
That's strategic planning. Right? How is that for strategic planning? Narad Muni knew, okay, Hiranyakashipu is a gone case. He do. 5-year roadmap for all those who are planning to go in the corporate circle. We have a 5-year roadmap. What did Narada do? Let's tackle the next generation. He encouraged Prahlad. He, saw Prahlad from the womb itself, pure devotee. And how did Prahlad save Hiranyakashipu?
Lord Rishikesh wanted to give him some meditation. Prahlad Maharaj asked that all of his family members, everybody be partying for
Yeah. And then, what did Nrsimhadev say? Done. Totally done. Nobody's. Granted. So Hiranyakashipu was saved. Tactically he was a loser, but because of Narad Muni's strategic planning, he was also saved. But of course that's not where we want to be. We'd rather be a Prahlad or followers on the footsteps of Prahlad Maharaj.
Not only Hiranyakashipu, almost like around 16 generations.
Yes.
Absolutely 16 generations, right?
7%.
Then how do we, you brought up the point of Bali Maharaj. Bali Maharaj's guru actually told him not to worship Vishnu. What did he do?
Rejected his spiritual.
He rejected the spiritual master. Respectfully, but rejected him. So, the point is that in order to progress in spiritual life, has to be mercy of the spiritual master, accompanied by mercy of sages, and accompanied by mercy of Shastras. So Guru Sadhana Shastra, that's how, when you take a gun, you want to shoot. I'm not recommending shooting here, just using this as an example. You align the dots. So these are the dots that we align in our spiritual life. So Prahlad Maharaj, if I'm not wrong, requested one more thing. He said, I want the whole world, the whole universe to be liberated. And I'll take your sins and I'll be here if you want me to. So Prahlad Maharaj prayed for all of us. How does that sound? Sounds exciting? He actually delivered all of us. So that's the power of Bhagavatam. There are 2 types of Bhagavatam. This is my final point. So stay with me for a couple of more minutes. There are 2 types of Bhagavatam. Can someone help me? What are the 2 types?
Person Bhagavatam and book Bhagavatam.
Person Bhagavatam and book Bhagavatam. When you talk, great things happen. And when great devotees talk, Bhagavatam happens. So that's my quote. It's a powerful quote. Thank you for that. It makes me feel good. Like a little Hiranyakashipu in me is like. Anyways, what's the point here? Why do we emphasize so much on book distribution? How are we able to time travel with Suta Goswami, Sukadeva Goswami, Yudhishthir Maharaj, Narad Muni, Lord Brahma? How are we able to time travel through the medium of these books? By mercy of Param. I'm not a scholar at Sanskrit. In this time, in this lifetime, I don't think I'll ever be. In fact, I'm not even a scholar at English. What to speak of Sanskrit? It's Prabhupada's mercy. I think Tamal Krishna Maharaj last time, he mentions that Prabhupada was in the spiritual world. Krishna told him, go to the material world. He said, no. He said, just go, drop them, come back. It was on a special operation. Srila Prabhupada came here just to read the books. So what happens? Anyone has seen that movie, Jumanji?
Yes.
Alright, nice. What happens in that movie? Board opens? What?
Everything goes back.
Everything goes. So you're consumed by the game, right? So you travel with the game as things happen. Similarly, what happens when you open Bhagavatam? Consumed by the mercy of Bhagavatam with all these devotees. Narad Muni not only delivered Hiranyakashipu, he delivered everybody else. He can deliver Hiranyakashipu, then is there anybody else whom he cannot deliver? He can deliver anybody. What is it? It's only that people don't have access to Narad Muni, they don't have access to Prahlad Maharaj, they don't have access to Srila Prabhupada. And how do they get access? when we plant these books strategically, getting inspired by Narad Muni, getting inspired by Srila Prabhupada, he strategically brought these books into the West, planted them here, every town and village. And we are just serving and helping Srila Prabhupada in planting these books into these of devotees. They are already devotees, they just don't know. So don't worry about when, how, who will read it. Don't worry about that. Lord Srila Prabhupada, Narad Muni, they figured it out, the Goswami. So, point is, just place these books. We do our part by placing these books. Engaging people in service. They give something in return. They get Sukriti, they get the book, they get Srila Prabhupada's purpose. And you can speak to thousands of people. Whether they have a background or they don't have a background in spiritual life, it doesn't matter. They open this book, it's a Jumanji. And they just start. Like Bhagavatam starts, Narad Muni, they start time traveling spiritually. The podcast of Narad Muni, Yudhishthir Maharaj, Sukdev Goswami starts in their life. Right? It's like recently, Manas Prabhu, where did he go?
Back home.
Yeah, so that's another point I heard from a class. It's like, if Manas Prabhu had a couple of hours a week, Manasi Ganga, I'm sorry, Manasi Ganga Prabhu, I apologize. And someone comes to you and asks, where is Manasi Ganga? What would be the response? No, if he has already left for India, what would you say? In transit. Where is he going? Mumbai. So similarly, if someone has done any devotional service, they are already on their path to Krishna Loka. It's just a matter of time. Someone has a couple of stops on their way, right? Someone might take a bit more if they are a bigger troublemaker. They might take a couple of lifetimes. Yeah, someone might get a direct flight. Someone might get a private jet. It's on your endeavor. Ye yathamam chatrante tamsa seva. Krishna responds. So the point is, we place our books, we do our service. Our service, our purification. When you go out on Sankirtan, we meet all these different Prahlads and Hiranyakashipus. And actually, to be honest, we are also able to purify the Hiranyakashipu in our own heart when we do these service, especially Sankirtan. So, with that, I would like to end my class. I know I went over time, I apologize for that. But thank you for hearing me. There is no time for questions, but if any of you have any comments or corrections, more than happy. Please feel free to let me know. Hare Krishna.